Okay. Anyway, we are recording this session so that later on you could refer back to it. But the portion before now is not recorded because we did not actually go live. So yeah, coming back to this one, right? So basically, you have you have the first project as the data API, right? And then the next project is basically, which is important, is so if you want to actually deploy GraphQL to your local, you can also see the GraphQL website. It tells you about how you can install GraphQL locally and deploy your API locally on your local computer as well. Right? So in some cases, you may want to do that. Right? So the second most important project is the resources API. So again, this is a GraphQL API using Node.js, and Ashul knows about it. But all the logic is inside this one single file, and not we are not particularly proud of the fact that it's in one single file. So basically, but that's the way it has evolved. So wait a second. Let's just go back to this one. You can see the so you can if you know the GraphQL, the way GraphQL works, then you will know that there is inside there's this schema, this where you can see the schema that has been defined, and for each of these schema items, and there's a definition of the handler for those schema items in server main. So let's just look at one very simple thing called create user generated feed, right? This is a mutation which has been defined. Uh, yeah, so you see this create user generated feed. It's actually handling your this mutation. Yeah. Uh, yeah, and this itself, the code for this may be a little bit intimidating initially because it has evolved with time, so it has become quite big. So the particular function that you're working on, if you are for Ashul, it should be still fine, but for Sushant, if you're working on something new, then you can always like discuss with me, with Santosh, Harshit, or even Ashul. Ashul, if he remembers, right, the things that he has worked on previously. So they should be able to give you some initial idea about that particular functionality. Where is the code for that, and how does it work, right? This itself mm, is basically an Express API, right? Express GraphQL API. So if you run this, it will actually run on your computer as a local host. There are a few things which are important here, like the config fields, config itself, and that is env.staging and env.production, right? This is the configuration. So inside this, you can see all the important configurations like yeah, what's the GraphQL URL? So GraphQL is your other project, the Learning Data API project. Um, what is the email API URL? What is the Google Cloud project ID, and several other such things, right? Uh, is all given here. All the configuration is over here, right? Um, so you can have a look at that if you want to make any changes to the configuration, right? So this is the resources API. And then the third important project is, of course, the web, right? Wait, where did the web go? Learn cool web. Yeah. The web project itself is the more organized of all codes. So You have index.js as you would expect in a React, and then you have container, which has the root container. Root container is essentially doing all the routing as well. So so it actually yeah uh, so you can see private route for this, private route for that, like uh, all the different React components are mapped to a route over here, right? And also you have things like components. In the components, then you have various different components. So overall, this is the most like split up kind of code. But inside this, there are few pages which are used a lot and lot and lot. So the two pages which are used a lot are like posts, uh, which kind of encapsulates the functionality of any user feed, and the other one is user created post, which is in turn used by the post, right? So these two are important. Then other things which are important are like bottom navigation. Over here, bottom navigation is the thing at the bottom of your app. So if you see this app itself, this is bottom navigation. This is bottom navigation. This page that you see here is actually the self-study page is actually coming from here. Wait, is actually coming from taxonomy, assorted topics. So this is the self-study component, and that you can see from the root container thing, right? And the from the mapping between the roots and things, right? And this training is something that we have, like, but presently we are not emphasizing this much because it will require a lot of advertisement, and we are not very keen on doing a lot of advertisement right now. So what is more important, third one, is my groups. My groups is basically like your chat, right? And inside this you can also see other things like once you go into the chat, you can of course chat over here, hi, hello, right? But you can also go to this schedule to see a schedule of this group. Like, say, suppose they are meeting up again on a particular date, or they have a particular agenda for a particular date. So all those kind of stuff you can see here. um, and uh, and um, and yeah, several other things you can put there, right? um, and that's the groups thing, right? Inside the groups, you could always also like click on this to go into a meeting page, and the where you can do audio conference, video conference, and all, right? But we'll not go inside there because that's sort of we are already in one meeting group right now, so we don't want to start another meeting, right? So uh, this is broadly the code base. We presently don't have a documentation of the sort where we go step by step and tell, okay, you do this, and you'll have the code working on your computer. So what I want, yeah, there's the fourth project that I did not talk about till now, which is this one, uh, React Native. Yeah. So React Native is the one which has our app itself. Right? Inside React Native, once you go inside, right, don't get like uh, don't look at too many things inside here. Just look at React folder inside it, and inside features, you just look at welcome and components. Inside here, you will see the welcome page native. It's the most important page, right? Then you will see login native. which is the second most important one. And other than that, essentially there is the meeting page, which is your you can also do the meeting on the mobile app, right? So that is I'll not go into detail of that because that's a lot more detail. So that's that. So there are these four uh, components which are important, right? So, what I do, right, is while I have assigned both of you some tasks, a high level task, probably, especially for Sushant, it would be better if you start by fixing some small issues in the application, because that will give you some familiarity and time to like chew and understand the basic working of the app, right? And that will give you a chance to become familiar with the code base so that later on you can make changes to it, right? But before that, are there any questions you guys have?
Oh, was I just want to know about my task and what is the first task assigned to me.
Yes. So there are, okay. So what I'll do, right? Sushant, is that Arshul? That's Arshul, right?
No, that was Sushant. I was not there.
Sushant. Okay, that was Sushant. Okay. So let me. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, because sometimes on the audio it's difficult to know who talked. So let me just go to to do, right? And inside the to do, Sushant, you will see inside our Slack, most of our communication happens over Slack presently, right? Except for our daily stand up, which happens on our app, right? So daily stand up, we will continue to use app, but daily communication happens with Slack. So in this, you will see this thing. You see in our app, there is this chat groups.
Hmm.
So we want to allow to create a chat group which is a child of a existing chat group, and we call it a channel,
Hmm.
and it will have certain restrictions on who can be member of that group.
Hmm.
So
Just like Slack, right?
sorry,
Just
like
like
channel.
Slack. As we do in the
Just
Slack, you want the same
correct,
functionality.
exactly. So what we want is in Slack, right? Say suppose you go to a small screen, right? I think what happens in small screen or a mobile screen, especially. Sorry, maybe I just keep it big only. Um, let's come to bottom here. So in the in Slack, right? You see on a mobile screen, it looks like this.
Hmm.
You just one channel, right?
Hmm.
Which is like a group, like a chat group that we have, right?
Hmm.
But if you click on this three bar here, what happens is you see something like this.
Hmm.
These are the child groups of this group. So, like general is the main group, while rest of them are like child groups. So we already have a functionality for creating chat groups, but we have no hierarchy in chat groups. So one thing we want you to work on once you are more familiar with the code base. And for that, I would still recommend to start with a particular bug fix. So what I'll do is, other than this task, I'll assign you a bug fix as well first.
Okay.
So you try to fix a bug or two, and thereafter, what you have to do is you have to create an option for, like over here, you can click and create a group, right? You can say, "Hi, I want to create a group. This is a test group, Sushant, right?" And you specify what's the topic. You say data science, and then you say proficiency level is beginner, and you create, right? And that's it. Hopefully we don't have any bug right now. Then it will create, right? So, and then you can share this invitation link on any of the platform. But that's it. It creates this. This should create a new group here, right? Uh, yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know whether it actually created or not. We can have a look if there's a bug. Okay. But what you want to do is something like that. Create a learning group should be available within a group as well, and that should be something like a channel. So create a channel, and then when you create a channel, even in the creating a group, right, there is an option for manually adding users, in which you can actually search like uh, um, yeah. So this is staging. So probably you're not there, right? And you can actually add people like this. So when you create a channel and you invite people inside, what should happen is that the members of this channel should be a subset of member of the main group. Right? So that these are some of the restrictions on this, and it should not be visible in the main listing of groups. Right? It should be available inside the main group itself. So that's the high level functionality that Sushant you have to work on, and Arshul, on your side. Okay, so a lot has changed since you left, and one of the things which is significantly changed is the way that topics are created, right? So you can see over here there is this create a new topic thing here. So you can create a topic and you can say, okay, my topic name is Toastmasters. Cloud of Toastmasters. Say IPA Toastmasters. Yeah, and then hello. The background, I just put something here. Uh, and topic color, let me just select something here, and then just add. Yeah, so this is a topic that has been just added. um, IPA to professional system, right? And in this you can actually create a part, like say um, where speeches, uh, and then I can create another part for evaluation, and add. Right? So once you've added these areas, then you can add a lesson. Right? Okay, this is test lesson. Something you can also insert images inside here. You can even insert a YouTube video and all those stuff. So and then just next submit, right? uh, yeah. So this lesson will appear here, right? And later on you can actually edit it. So you can go there and say edit, and you can add steps to it if you want. You can add an MCQ to it, or add a lesson itself to it. So if you have another lesson, that could be part of this lesson, right? In some cases, but generally it will be just one single step, right? And so you can just add several lessons over here, several lessons over here, and so on and so forth. But the thing with this is, and you can also search for them. Like if I search for Toastmasters, then I'll see that IPA Toastmasters is one of the topic, while Toastmasters pathway is one of the lessons, right? So I can go to this right time, right? So one of the things, Arshul, you can look at is the fact that we actually want to use our own app. So this kind of a knowledge sharing that we are doing right now, we want to do it on our own app itself. Uh, but we can't do that because, say, suppose knowledge sharing for LearnCool, we don't want anyone outside LearnCool to be able to see it. But presently, it's not possible to do that. I mean, groups are still private. You can't see what's happening in someone else's group, but uh, topics are not private. Like anyone can see any topic that has been created by anyone. So what we want, Arshul, you to look at is basically allowing to we you to allow to create topics which are actually private, and that means that only people who have been added to that topic should be able to view it uh, and go inside, and even the lessons inside it, right? So that's the thing that Arshul you can look at, right? So other thing is that presently in a topic, anyone can go in and public topics, anyone can go in and add a part or add a lesson. So the idea is that it's more collaborative and anyone can contribute. But what we also want to do is in these private ones, anyone can add. Uh, in the public ones, anyone can add, and the person who added can edit or delete their own lessons. But in the private one, we want allow people to have some administrators. So administrators will be able to like edit or delete anyone's lessons. So the normal members can only edit or delete their own things, while administrators can edit or delete anyone's lesson in the topic. So that's what Akhil, you'll have to work on, right? So yeah.
Okay.
Any other question, guys?
Yeah, actually, not related to all the stuff that you have told right now, but
Yeah.
I was just not able to find the group for really stand up. I was not able to open the link.
Oh yeah, the link. There is some part there. So somehow the link doesn't work. Oh yeah, sorry guys. I actually I actually clicked on a link outside and then I lost you guys. Okay, just a second. Um, uh, okay, so um, yeah, what I was saying also was that on the production, you should be able to see if you go to app, then if you go to my groups, right, you should be able to see this one.
Your voice is breaking,
Yeah,
Shishir.
like my voice is working. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Let me shift a little bit to another one. Um, so is it better? Guys,
Yeah.
is it? Yeah. Okay. Um, so, Arshil, you should be able to see this group in production. There is a problem in the invitation. Yeah. So that's one of the bugs that potentially, yeah. So Shanti could have a look at that. Presently, what happens is, say suppose,
So we are. Mhm.
suppose you are part of a group, right? You can actually click on this link and then copy the URL for sharing, right? And that should then actually just work. But presently, you see it's broken. It should not be post slash slash this ID. It should be
Mhm.
post slash uh,
Yeah.
lessons or something like that. Learncool.sg, right? It should be something like this instead. That's what I suspect is a bug in the app. Um, and but also, what was happening was that Vishwa was saying that for him, even the proper link doesn't work. So I was
Yeah.
a little bit surprised with that as well.
Yeah. Actually, I tried that as well. I
This link,
removed one of the slash, but it was not working as well.
not remove, but like, did you try? Wait, let me just message you on Slack. This link, okay. Okay. So can you try to open this link on your computer?
Yeah, I'm able to open this.
Okay. So mainly the issue then is that when you go to this, then this copying of resource is broken right now. So that needs to be fixed.
Okay, so currently we are doing the stand-up call on our own app.
Yeah. So now we have an app both on Android and iOS. So you can just download the app and then use that for the daily stand-up.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so, Sushant, what I'll do is I'll assign few of the bugs to you, and Ashul also for you. I'll assign few bugs for you as well to just get started, right?
Okay.
And then thereafter, you guys can have a look at the bigger task that is given to you. I
Hmm.
know you may or may not be able to complete the whole thing by this Friday or Sunday, but at least whatever is done by today, try to put it into staging at least for those things. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem,
Any other
Shisha. Yeah.
question? Any other question? Sushant,
Hello.
Ashul?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, which repository I have to
Hi,
log in
Sushant.
first?
Yeah.
Hello.
You get you can get the web first, right? Because
Okay.
web actually, if it points to staging,
Hmm.
okay. So when you get the web project, right, you can still point your web to the staging environment. So like, say suppose you get the repositories in the web project,
Hmm.
right? If you just run it on your local host, what will happen is that
So which branch I have to know? Staging branch, right?
yeah, take the staging branch. Yeah.
Okay.
Take the Learn Cool web and staging branch and try to run it on your local. So you just do a npm install and npm start, or yarn install and yarn start, whatever you are comfortable with,
Hmm.
and that should do,
Okay. So
right?
okay, let me
Yeah.
log in my Bitbucket and let you know.
Yeah. And inside the source folder, there's this config folder. Inside this, you will see the various configs which are available. There is a config which is for development. This is config.json. production, and staging. So in case your app is not able to like show any data or something like that, you can always take your config staging content and overwrite your config JSON with config staging JSON, right?
Hmm. So can you share your screen? I'm not able to see you.
Oh yeah, I did not share my screen once I joined back. Okay, wait a second here. So what I was saying was that inside your Learn Cool web project, there is a source folder, and inside the source folder, there is a config folder.
Right.
So what you want is you want to copy the content of config.stg.json into config.json. It already has something, but in case if that does not work, you can just replace it with this, and that should allow you to run the web application locally on your computer, while the API and all are the staging API being used. So that effectively allows you to work exclusively on the web portion.
Okay. Config. Under config. So wait.
You should see this Learn Cool web, uh,
Yeah, I go to the Learn web repository and
and inside that, you basically do a clone of this on your computer.
okay. So I'm basically on the branch staging.
Okay, great. So on the brand staging, once you're there, then you have already cloned, right? So what you do is you just do npm install,
Okay, wait.
and once npm install is done, then just do npm start.
Okay.
Oh, wrong repo. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can just do a npm start, and that should just run the web locally.
Okay, I'm facing some problem regarding the login issue.
What?
I'm facing the issue from the Atlassian login issue. So, okay,
Oh, but have you accepted the invite or
yeah, accepted. I able to see on the web platform, but when I go to the CLI platform, it asking from the login, but I logged
okay?
into my
So
Gmail
you,
again. So it asking for the password, so I need to change the
oh
password.
yeah, you can use the password that you have for Atlassian. So so
But
mm,
I register the Bitbucket account through my Gmail login. So
that's fine. So you just give your Gmail login account and password. No, the Gmail password, but the password that you used while registering. So say suppose for your Bitbucket,
hmm,
if you go to profile, Like, see, my user ID is this, right? So I just use this user ID. You can use your user ID as well. And whatever password you have set over there is the password you should use for the Git clone.
Okay. So I just basically resetting my account.
Okay, so yeah, wait, let me just check also, mm,
Yeah, done.
so Sushant, I see you have this account created already.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I have successfully able to clone it.
to accept, right? Okay. Okay. So um, yeah,
Yeah, I'm installing the node modules now.
sure.